High school. It's not all tests and homework. It's a place full of exciting opportunities. There's concerts, games, theater, prom, pep rallies, and so much more. It's a time to be creative, share your voice, meet new people, and have fun. However, high school is also a time where a lot of students are faced with an obstacle. One that can't be seen by the people they pass in the halls.
And it feels like your whole world just like crashes down like in front of you, and you feel like so helpless and like you can't do anything about it, and like you're the only person that is suffering.
My name is Mia Flanagan.
My name is Lucia Knapp.
My name is Alexandra Mary Conroy.
My name is Tom Duty.
Parker Gorton.
I'm Mia Farwell.
My name is Tori Mustow.
I'm Mary Kate.
My name's Logan Regazio.
Shelby Hasenfuss.
My name is Sylvia.
My name is Scott Reardon.
My name is Danielle Ray.
I currently have dealt with body dysmorphic disorder and generalized depression.
I have depression and anxiety.
Anxiety.
I'm dealing with depression and anxiety.
I have chronic depression and anxiety.
I have anxiety and depression.
I have extreme anxiety and I have ADHD/ADD.
I have depression and anxiety.
I'm suffering with chronic depression, and I also have anxiety.
I've dealt with major depressive disorder, panic disorder, and generalized anxiety.
I've dealt with anxiety and depression and OCD.
Have anxiety, depression, and ADHD.
I'm diagnosed with generalized anxiety and mild to moderate depression.
I don't really tell that many people about it just because it's something I'm not that comfortable sharing, so.
My friends, some might know. I'm not sure. I don't really talk that much about it to them.
I do hesitate to tell people, it's not just something that I'm super open about.
I don't talk about it with my friends.
My friends don't really talk about their feelings, so we just don't usually talk about that kind of stuff.
They're nobody ever talks about it, so it's not my family doesn't talk about it or anything.
There's so much negativity surrounding this and stuff, and whatever that people have negative ties, everything surrounding mental illness.
If they find out, they're just oh.
There's definitely a huge stigma around it.
It is that stigma.
There's definitely the stigma. It's a stigma.
Because of the stigma?
The stigma.
Because of the stigma.
A lot of people definitely do relate it to being crazy.
Oh, they're crazy.
Crazy.
I was crazy.
You're crazy. They struggle. They're kind of just problematic.
Weird, not able to keep themselves stable.
This girl, said because you have depression and whatever, that, you're weak and that, you're nothing.
People tend to take it not as seriously as it should be.
So, there's this whole stigma that, they're looking for attention. It isn't real. It's, made up. They don't believe it, almost.
In the hallways, all the suicide jokes.
Oh my god, I could just kill myself right now. I'm so stressed out.
Oh, I want to kill myself because I have a test next block.
Oh, I'm going to have an anxiety attack if he doesn't text me.
I'm so depressed, or I'm so anxious.
Oh, you're so schizo. Kid belongs in a psych ward, a mental hospital. He shouldn't be allowed on the streets.
The biggest barriers are lack of awareness, lack of access to care, and stigma.
The hardest thing is reaching out yourself, because I feel a lot of people feel judged, And when you feel judged and you feel unsafe, you don't want to tell anyone.
I don't feel comfortable going to other people about my mental illness.
I wouldn't say anything to people, but
I was really afraid to tell anyone.
Like, I kept it a secret for so long.
It's something that I've covered up for so long.
Something that I've just been holding back.
My name is Mrs. Lopes, and I'm the adjustment counselor at the high school. I think there are a lot of reasons that kids may be reluctant to come forward around stigma issues.
There's the stigma about going to get help.
Either they might be afraid that they're going to get judged.
People are going to judge me.
Everyone's judging you.
Judging someone.
People might make certain assumptions.
Kids can sometimes be afraid to go talk to her because they don't want to be seen talking to her, because then someone will assume
or make fun of them.
It's really weird to have a therapist or have anything wrong with you.
You don't want people to know because it's embarrassing.
I think that it's embarrassing to walk into Mrs. Lopes' office.
It can be really tricky for kids to feel like it's okay to come and talk about it.
The people who do speak out are a lot of the time not given the help they need. In schools,
I feel like people think that a 504 or some kind of, aid to those who have mental illness is either, unwarranted or inappropriate or just not deserved.
The teachers don't really understand that there's other influencing factors in your life.
Sometimes they're not very understanding, why aren't you doing this, or why aren't you in class, or why aren't you this or that. You have to explain yourself almost to teachers, because you're it's because you don't want to be oh, I'm sorry, I had a rough night, because sometimes they don't really believe you. Well, they thought I was faking it. Not gonna name names. Cough cough. Told me that I was faking it, and that he didn't believe me, and that anxiety isn't real, and that I was making it up, and that I just was a liar. It made me feel super uncomfortable with my own self, thinking that people genuinely believed that I was making it up.
in businesses,
not a lot of coverage by insurance, which makes it near impossible for some people to get help. There have been instances where I've been denied the help that I need because I wasn't bad enough, or my depression wasn't as severe as it required, so insurance wouldn't cover things.
And at home.
Their parents don't buy into it.
When I first when they first kind of found out in middle school and stuff, I think my dad was a little bit weary.
I have a complicated relationship with my family regarding mental illness. There's definitely a huge stigma around it for them. I'll tell them I'm depressed, and I've told them that multiple times, and they'll say oh, you don't seem sad, if you have a smile on your face, you're not depressed, or what do you have to be sad about, really? So they don't understand as much.
It's just a lack of understanding.
A lot of people don't really understand.
They don't exactly understand it.
A lot of times people misunderstand things.
I think that a lot of times people don't even know what it is.
Someone that hasn't dealt with mental illness, or they don't really know what it's like.
A lot of people misunderstand mental illness because they themselves have never dealt with it before. They don't understand what it feels like.
It's not just if your cat dies and you're sad for a few days or even a week. It's just it's a long period, and there's usually not really a trigger.
There's nothing that you feel sad about. You feel constantly down.
I feel a weight is on your shoulders.
I don't know, it feels like I'm walking through molasses.
They just don't quite understand why I'll have a panic attack or something like that, when really it's just sometimes there's no reason for it. It's a very scary feeling because it feels like you cannot breathe.
You're short of breath. You feel lightheaded.
I won't be able to hear. It's almost I lose my senses. I can't breathe.
I feel everybody's kind of oh, I have OCD, and it's if you need to fix a pencil, that's not OCD. It's a compulsion. I have to make every word perfect. You just can't not do it, or else you have this anxiety that something's gonna happen.
With body dysmorphic disorder, what it feels like, I guess, is just picture looking yourself in the mirror and you just see a completely different person than what you thought you were. You just almost don't even recognize yourself.
They don't understand how it impacts everyday life.
You kind of have this fog in front of you where it doesn't allow you to like really do the things that you want.
I just don't have motivation.
I find it a hard time to even get motivated to go do things that I like.
It just makes it harder to get work done and deal with stress.
Talking to people in general, even if it's people that I'm close with, I'm just constantly anxious about everything.
Every time I leave the house, I feel like I can't breathe.
Like a paragraph, like just like a normal, like 10, like 12 sentences, like it'll take me a good, like 3-4 hours.
Certain features get so exaggerated or you feel so ugly.
It's not anything someone can control. It just happens. Like, I can't stop it from happening.
Chemical imbalance that you can't help.
It's a chemical issue that it's so intangible.
It affects me every single day, and every single day I have to like push through.
I think it's really important that like not only the students around here are more aware of like the mental illness and how it affects us, but I think definitely teachers too.
And I think that half the time people don't even realize that it's such a common thing.
A lot of kids in Scituate High School do have mental illnesses.
It affects like a lot of kids.
So many people like go through it. There's a lot of people more and more these days with anxiety.
You know that like it seems like maybe like not a lot of people have depression and anxiety, but like a lot of people do. Like a lot of people have mental illness.
A lot of people struggle with this, people you wouldn't even expect to, but
There's no way to identify a profile of.
Not everything is so surface level.
It's not like a broken leg that you can like see.
We can't really necessarily see it sometimes.
Over 200 students from Scituate High School deal with mental illness. Students from all different grades.
I'm a freshman.
I'm a sophomore.
I'm a junior.
I'm a senior at Scituate High School.
All different genders. And all different interests.
I do drama club.
I'm involved in the school band.
I am in chorus.
I'm a cheerleader.
I'm into photography and football.
I dance.
I like art.
Fashion.
Photography and
Travel. Hang out with friends.
It could be anyone for any reason, and there's no rhyme or reason. You know, the mental illness piece of things does not distinguish.
Those who deal with mental illness are normal people like everybody else. They're not weak, they're not weird, and they're not crazy. People at Scituate High School need to understand the impact stigma has on those dealing with mental illness. They need to understand that the stigma is not true and work to fight against it. So how do we make this happen? And what can people do to help?
Talking about it is the best way to like resolve the stigma and the issues.
You need to talk more about these topics, like talk about anxiety, talk about depression, talking about like resources, like being able to reach out.
Talk to someone and get some help.
Talk to someone because it's so much harder to go through it alone.
and try to seek out resources because there's always going to be someone that you'll be able to talk to.
Miss Lopes is always available to talk to, so
I definitely see Miss Lopes a lot.
Miss Lopes is like super awesome.
Like Miss Lopes is obviously a great like adjustment counselor.
We have Miss Lopes and all like the guidance counselors.
All the guidance counselors are so helpful.
Gone to the nurse if I'm having like a really bad episode.
I feel like Miss Lopes and my guidance counselor and the nurse have really helped me through all of this.
I would encourage people to come forward.
If you're struggling, like, I can't stress it enough. Speak up.
Speak out and talk about it.
Speaking out could make a difference in some people's lives.
It's okay to like speak out.
And being able to speak out and being able to share their story. When people share their stories, it's more relatable than in health class or in whatever class, like being told a story.
I decided to speak out and share my story about dealing with mental illness because I haven't necessarily got the help I've needed in the past, and I know that a lot of people dealing with mental illness feel that way as well, and so I just wanted to have people know that like there are always people you can go to, there are always resources you can take advantage of.
The more people know, the more people can get help.
This has been something like that I've been like really passionate about for a while, just because like I've dealt with it for so long. I just don't want to see anyone suffer anymore.
I don't want people to go through what I went through.
I decided to speak out because I think it's just like a really important topic that affects like a lot of kids, and like kids that you don't even know or don't even like realize.
You know, it was important for me to talk about that and kind of tell people, you know, what I deal with on a daily basis.
To like encourage other people to come out and share their story, because if somebody knows that somebody like me is dealing with mental illness, it's kind of like a good message to send that, you know, like it's okay to like speak out.
I decided to speak out because I know that there are a lot of kids in this school that don't speak out about it, and I speak up so I can raise awareness, like for the kids that feel like they can't talk about it. Like they need to hear stuff like this, like know that you're not alone and that a lot of people struggle with this.
We are all affected by mental illness, and we all have to do our part to make it okay to talk about, to seek treatment, and to restore the peace and the health and the dignity and the hope for the millions of people who suffer.
Hello.
Test. This is working.
Is this thing on?
Yo, it's DJ Duty up on the beat. What's good?
Fricka fresh. Oh, I have this big hole in my pants, my fat place.
Yo. Hold on. Jeez. Are like very. Just wait. Yeah.
Do I just ignore that? Hello.
Hi, welcome to Mary Keith's ASMR.
Appear, what does that mean?
How come what?
Can appear like someone that I don't know.
Ave Maria. To cope with my
because of my mental illness.
Anxious about a test.
You can't
Some cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots.
Bang bang bing bada bang bada bing bang bada bing bang bada bing bang bing bada bing bang bada bing bang.
Kind of like a ASS meeting, is that what it is? ASS? That's called ass. What are they called? An ASS. Like an AA meeting? That's Alcoholics Anonymous.
There are kids that are just known to me. That doesn't mean that there aren't many, many more out there that haven't either identified themselves or haven't been identified by others. So kids are quick to brush it off as, oh, my friend's just doing this for attention kind of thing. How do kids come forward and get help? It's the work that I do with kids. It's private and confidential. I'm not sharing their business with other people unless it's. Sometimes kids might be worried about coming forward and what's going to happen, and basically I tell them that
don't be quiet. Tell people.
Talk to your mother. Talk to a teacher. Talk to your best friend.
Once I found that it was okay to talk to somebody and seek help, that has changed my life forever, and now I'm able to live life to its fullest.
We have to make them understand that mental illnesses are real medical conditions and that we have effective treatments, and these must be made available to people. I've been trying to do this by
everywhere. It's in the media, it's in the words we use, and it's in our attitudes. 3 out of 4 people that struggle with mental illness report feeling stigmatized. Have you ever, they don't truly understand that mental illnesses are real illnesses. Brain chemistry contributes to brain illness. Truly understand that mental illnesses aren't choices, then it reduces stigma. and reducing stigma will. We are all affected by mental illness, and we all have to do our part to make it okay to talk about, to seek treatment, and to restore the peace and the health and the dignity and the hope for the millions of people who suffer. Join me. Stand up to make stigma a thing of the past.
Like